Welcome back, everyone, to the High Vibe Life podcast. I am your host, Lisa Holtan, and today I am so excited about our guest, Aleka Shunk, who will be sharing with us how you stay healthy while having these amazing parties at her house. We're going to talk about recipes, drinks, party ideas, entertaining at home, and how she stays healthy doing it all. So I know it's a balance, and I can't wait to have her talk all about how she balances all of that. So welcome, Aleka, to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
I'm super excited. Now, just so you guys know, I have been following Aleka for, I don't know, I think I found you maybe like a year and a half ago on Instagram.
Okay.
And she's so fun. So if you guys don't follow her on Instagram, all of her social media links are below. So make sure to follow her because she has the best reels, the best entertaining ideas, and I absolutely love them. So thank you so much for sharing and all you do in that space.
Thank you. Thank you for saying all that. That's so kind of you.
But I know it can be hard and lonely, right? When you're like creating reels by yourself all day long.
Oh my gosh, it is a lonely career. It's so funny to say, call it that, but it is, and it is super lonely. So that's my way of getting in touch with reality, if you want to call Instagram reality, with other people other than my kids and my husband all day. So yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into this space of entertaining and, making party ideas online?
Yeah. So I started it 6 years ago when I was like 5 years into teaching. And I was teaching math at the time. And I loved teaching, but it was not filling like my creative outlet. And before that, I had like a shunk shop on Etsy. Like I just wanted something else, because math is very black and white, right? It's not fun. It's definitely not a creative subject to teach. So I was like, oh, I don't have kids yet. I have time, right? So I started right before I had my first son, and I found, all these other bloggers and their income reports, and saw how much money you can make with this thing called a blog. And at the time, I had no idea what it was. And I was like, oh, okay, this could be something. I love entertain. And somebody brought it up to me after I had like a game night, a couples game night, which was so fun. And everyone was like, oh, this is awesome. Put it up on a blog. And I didn't know what it was. So I looked into it. I found all of that and I jumped on it and was like, you know what? This could be something that I could turn into a career, like a new career. And I was okay if I had left teaching to do it. And a year and a half, 2 years ago, I finally was able to resign from teaching and do this full time. So, yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. So exciting. So different than what I was doing before.
Yes, very different. Awesome. Well, I would love to hear from you. So how do you balance um, eating healthy, but then throwing parties at the same time?
It's definitely tricky, and it's not something that I've always done. It's not my health. Obviously, as you get older, things start to, I don't want to say deteriorate, but it's not as,
Shift.
things aren't as great as they used to be. I used to be able to eat whatever I wanted, and do whatever I wanted, and I was totally fine, no health problems. And then a couple of years ago, I had started to have some health issues, and because of that, I had to drastically change how I ate and started to discover new ways to eat. And I've always been into organic and, that type of just really, really aware of where food comes from and what foods are the most, beneficial and most nutritious for you. And I mean, I read and listened for, those first couple of years to kind of decide like, well, how do I fix what's wrong with me? And finally have gotten into more of like a routine now. So I stick to like a paleo type of diet or lifestyle, I guess I could say, during the weekdays. And when I don't entertain, right? And then when I do entertain on the weekends is when I try to give myself some grace and eat things that I may, want to eat, and I may, have, may regret it a couple days later. But it's okay. My body will jump back. If I have one day of eating, lots of cheese and, carbs, and that's fine. It's something that actually helps me to stay on track, because, it's like you still get a little bit of what you want, and you still get to, feel healthy all week, most of the week. So, but when you're entertaining, and you have other people that are coming over, especially now in 2023, it's not just all about like cheesy spinach artichoke dips and lots of processed chips, right? You have to now be mindful of who's coming to your house and give other people options that they're going to want to, be excited to eat. You're not just like, oh, there's more cheese and pizza and burgers. And, it's that, I feel like that's what's expected when you go to a party. And sometimes, you leave not feeling your best self, or if you couldn't eat something because you have a gluten intolerance or dairy allergy, then you didn't really enjoy yourself either, right? So I think it's also important to think about your guests and put out recipes that could cater to all of everybody's, needs and dietary needs and tolerances and all of that. So.
Yeah, I love that. My husband is dairy-free, gluten-free for, I don't know, the past 8 or 9 years now due to medical issues. And I never expect anyone to serve dairy or gluten-free foods, because if you're not gluten-free or dairy-free, you don't have any idea what that's like.
You don't. And I mean, pizza has gluten and dairy, right? And that's like the most common entertaining go-to, let's have a pizza night. And gosh, it is so, but thankfully there's so many options these days. And there's so many gluten-free crusts out there. There's vegan cheeses. And there's just, not just pizza, there's so many things that you can do to replace that type of delicious food that's not, that people are probably going to want to try because it's something different, to be honest. So I think I'm sure your husband knows, but it's gotten easier. And thankfully we live in this time period and not in 1980, where it's just like all, Velveeta cheese and white bread, Wonder Bread, right?
Agreed. Yes. Agreed. I will give my own quick party tip, and then I want to ask you some party tips. But my quick party tip for if you do have guests coming that are gluten-free, dairy-free, be aware of sauces, because a lot of sauces will have gluten in them. So protein and like produce is always something that's usually gluten-free, dairy-free. So just serve, like if you're going to serve shredded pork, shredded chicken wings, whatever your protein might be, just maybe leave some like unsauced or no gravy, or make your own without flour. Yes.
Yeah. So use like a cornstarch or like a arrowroot starch or something that can thicken it up without the wheat. Yeah, exactly.
So
especially dressings, you have to be careful with dressings too, because salads are a big go-to. It's so hard to find a dressing without canola oil. Holy moly. Like it's and there are some out there that are just now, fortunately, like olive oil and avocado and like a Whole Foods where they're refrigerated, and if they're cold, they're good, right?
They're good, right?
But they're still like never as good as homemade. I'm always an advocate of making your own dressing in a large batch. It takes the salad to another level, so it's worth the extra effort too.
I agree. I actually just made homemade salad dressing last night for a salad we had. But what's your go-to salad dressing?
Oh, it was so long, and it was a take on Ina Garten. Her Italian dressing. It has olive oil, red wine vinegar, a little bit of honey, Dijon, oregano, salt, pepper, and garlic, minced garlic. So simple. I think it was a balsamic or a red wine. I can't remember, but I made that for years, and it was so simple, so paired with many salads. Now I've started making this lemon poppy seed dressing, which is my like summer go-to, because you get tired of the same thing. And that is similar, but it has a little bit of mayonnaise. So I use like an avocado oil mayonnaise in it. And lemon juice instead of vinegar, and honey and poppy seed and olive oil. And it is so good. So good. I have a strawberry salad on my blog, arugula salad that I put it on. So good.
That sounds amazing. Yes. So if you want those full recipes of what she's talking about, just go to the show notes and you can find it on her blog. I believe I saw that one on Instagram as well, so I'm sure it's on there as well, and YouTube. Mm-hmm.
Yes. My husband said it was so good, and I make salads for him all the time. And it's like, something different, and something that is like right now, it's strawberries are in season. So if you put them I had like 3 bunches of strawberries in my fridge, and they go bad so quickly. I'm like, let me just try to whip up a salad, and I did that one, and it was a good one. It was good.
Perfect. That sounds awesome. Now, as we're heading into fall, it is fall in some parts of the country right now in September. Do you have any fall party tips for us if we are maybe having like a football party, or we're just kind of getting everyone back together for maybe an early Halloween party or just a fall theme party?
Yeah, so football is big in our house. My husband's a big Eagles fan. Go Birds. We're from the Philadelphia area. So if you love, there are so many different ways you can cater recipes to your team, like to make it green or blue or red, with little like additions of color, pops of color. But I have a post on my blog and a video on YouTube of setting up a whole, it's more for Super Bowl, but you can use it for any tailgating party. If you haven't planning on having like, a big Sunday night game or even a Monday night game, check out some of those ideas. They're really interesting, like something like and easy, something like taking paper bags and putting tape on the front, white tape to make look like laces on a football. All you need is white, any type of white tape, maybe white electrical tape or a white marker pen. And you can draw those lines on anything, and you can use them for so many different things, like cups. Buy brown Solo cups, or green if you're a Eagles fan, and put the laces on the cup, right? I like to put like popcorn in those so people can grab them and take them around the party rather than just like have everyone hovering over one table. They want to watch the game, right? So make sure it's, they can grab and go and enjoy the, their team. Some other things like putting like I have labels, football labels that you can wrap around water bottles. Just something little and festive to do. I have yellow straws you can make into a field goal, and pop into like you can stick it into any really food container or stick it on something. And it's just like a cute little field goal sticking out of whatever you want it to stick out of. And a chalkboard. I'm like so big on center. I am so opposed to flat one-dimensional tables, if you know what I mean. Like if you go to a buffet table or an appetizer table and you see one layer of plates, it's not as appetizing as if you added like levels and boxes underneath and staggered everything so that your eyes are going different places, and you have a center piece, whether it's flowers or in this case like a little chalkboard that's maybe 3 feet by 2 feet. Draw like a play on it with some X's and O's. You don't have to be a coach to know what you're doing, and put that as your centerpiece and say, touchdown or go Birds, whatever it is. I think that's also something fun that you can do that's not food related, but it ties in the whole theme of the party. What are some other things that I have like mini football pizzas for the kids on my blog that my kids love making and eating. And you use string cheese for the laces and little football cutout with crescent dough. It's like super easy, not, no, it's fuss free, and the kids liked getting involved. So that's something you can have them do maybe, because they don't really watch the game if they're young, right? What else do I have? Some other ideas. I can't remember. I posted it a year ago.
So many good ideas on there. Yeah. So if you guys are having a football party or a get together to watch your favorite game, just go to her YouTube channel, which we've linked below, and you can see it all there.
I have a good Halloween punch too. Halloween is my favorite holiday. It's my husband's birthday. It's like something where we like really go all out, and punch is so party, it's a party favorite. So I have a good punch recipe that does not have ginger ale. I am not a ginger ale punch part. Like It has other delicious flavors. It's dark, like a dark purple. Throw some spiders in there, serve it with some fun glasses. That's a great recipe that you can make with or without alcohol too. So
those are great tips.
Yeah. And I have a black martini. Oh, I have so many. I can go on with my Halloween recipe. A black martini, which is really cool. It's like a Cosmo that's black. So cool. I know.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look that one up and see what all the ingredients are.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, what if someone's listening right now and they really want to throw a party, but they're a little bit afraid because maybe they've never done it before, or maybe they're not as creative as you are. I'm definitely like not as creative as that. I would never think to draw like shoelaces or the ball laces on cups or anything. So what's like one thing or a tip maybe we could give someone that's just starting out entertaining? How can you just kind of make them feel a little bit more confident?
First thing, it's hard to give one tip, but I think this ties together. Plan ahead what you want to do. And that doesn't have to be plan every single piece of the party, from scratch and follow through. Plan one thing that you want to do that kind of is like the wow part of the party, the wow item. So that could be a really cool drink station. It could be a really festive appetizer. It could be a salad that you made for everything, like the croutons and the dressing from scratch. It could be, doesn't have to be food related, but it could be just one thing where you do yourself that is different. And where when everybody looks at it or tries it or sees it, they're like, wow, did you do this? Because that's what makes hosting fun. When you can do a little bit of impressing people, but at the same time, make people feel like, oh, wow, he or she put some effort into this party. I'm going to be able to enjoy myself. And I'm glad that I came. Right. So go on Pinterest. There's so many ideas on there. You don't have to create them yourself. Like, I feel like everyone's idea came from somebody else's idea. Find something that stands out to you and just focus on that and do it in advance. So the day of, you're not stressing out. And then everything else, have everyone bring something so that part of the party can be taken care of, drinks, desserts, whatever, and just focus on that one wow part of the party.
Can I ask you one follow-up question to that? How many people do you normally invite to a party? And does it just kind of depend on like what kind of a party you're throwing?
Oh, good question. I mean, it completely depends on the type of party you're throwing. But at the same time, some parties, you can invite 30, 40 people. If it's a dinner party, I would say no more than 8. Definitely, it gets a little bit crazy. You don't even have table room for that. But if it's like a tailgating party, I would say keep it. I don't think I would say, well, only 2 people. That wouldn't be a fun tailgate party. I would say from anywhere from 6 to 12 would be a sweet spot, because there's not too many people where you feel like, oh, I don't know everybody. You want to make sure that there's enough seating. I think that's really a key important to entertaining. If you invite, 6, 10 or 15, 20 people and you only have like a couch and some chairs that can fit like 6 or 8 people, you're going to have like 6 or 7 people standing, which is, to me, I think the worst thing to do it, just standing, right? Everybody wants to sit down. You don't want to stand and eat your food, so I think just having room and space. Start with start with your space. How can you allow people to sit comfortably, and can you bring more chairs to the space? And if so, then maybe you can increase your guest number by a little bit. I mean, you don't need one-on-one, a chair per person, but I think you need to have a majority, more seats than none, and go start with that. That was a longer answer than it needed to be.
No, yeah, I totally agree. I think that seating is kind of the number one thing people overlook. So when you go to a party and there's like not enough places to sit, and then I'm like, okay, I'll just stand over here and like eat my food.
You have a drink in one hand and you're plate in your other hand. And you're like, it's uncomfortable. It reminds me of like being in a cocktail hour. I hate, no, I can't eat my food without putting, so.
Yes, agree. So before we wrap up here, can you just tell our audience, where can they find you? We kind of mentioned Instagram and YouTube. Where else can they find you?
Yeah, Instagram, YouTube. My blog is alekasgettogether.com. It's Aleka with a K. And I mean, I have, every social media, TikTok, I'm on TikTok, Facebook. But yeah, Instagram, I would say, and TikTok are my main two, social, where I post a lot of reels and tips for things I use at home, and recipes, that are seasonal. And Halloween is, right around the corner. So I'm going to be posting lots and lots of Halloween items, like, and recipes and tips. It's just, I go a little crazy. So definitely follow me if you guys are interested in cooking or entertaining. It would be great to have you on my mailing list. I always share tips too on there.
I love it. Well, you guys make sure to go to the show notes. You can find all of Aleka's social media down there, as well as her blog. And so make sure to get on her email list or follow her on IG, because she does have amazing tips and tricks and recipes. A few of them I've tried myself, and they're always a big hit at parties. So thank you, Aleka, for being on the podcast. Thank you for sharing everything you know, so you can help us out that don't know as much about entertaining.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate you guys.
All right, we will talk to you all soon. Thanks so much for listening.